Good morning, it's Christina with the Sisyphean Journal, and today we're going to talk about what may be a triggering subject to a lot of people. You're already here for abortion, which is a highly triggering subject, but we're also going to talk about suicide. Stacey Suicide was a 20-year-old college student who wanted to become an elementary school teacher. Though she loved children and she wanted to become a mother, she wound up going to Stephen Chase Brigham's American Medical Services Clinic in Cherry Hill, New Jersey on July 6th of 2001 for an abortion. According to Stacey's family, Stacey was, and I'm going to quote them, the victim of a coerced abortion which violated her personal, moral, and spiritual beliefs. And please take note, abortion advocates frequently boast about clinics selling abortions to women in violation of their core beliefs, rather than directing them toward the kind of help that won't damage their identities. It's as if they want to harm these women as much as possible, just in revenge for the women not thinking abortion is, the best thing since sliced bread. At Brigham's facility, Stacey was provided with a fact sheet on surgical abortion, which didn't address the risk of major depression or suicide, but merely recommended that a patient should talk to a counselor or a psychiatrist if she thought she needed help after the abortion. Stacey kept the abortion a secret from her family, but they noticed a change in her behaviors. Her parents arranged psychiatric care for her after she took an overdose of pills. 4 months later, without saying why, Stacey quit going to therapy and resumed her drinking binges. On October 1st, 2002, mere days before she was to serve as a bridesmaid in her brother's wedding, Stacey took her life after at least 3 failed prior attempts at suicide. After learning of the abortion and Stacey's unbearable anguish afterwards, her parents started the Stacys Suicide Foundation to provide post-abortion care so that nobody else's daughter would suffer the fate that their beloved little girl did. The Suicide family takes no stand on abortion. They seek to keep their focus on providing desperately needed aftercare services regardless of politics, creed, or religion. Now, the foundation also notes that there are known risk factors for a post-abortion mental health crisis. Previous mental health issues, being coerced or forced into the abortion, having beliefs that abortion is wrong, lacking family support, and abortion for fetal indications. And to me, the saddest thing about the foundation is that, likely in order to avoid any political hot buttons, they don't address the problem of high-risk women undergoing abortions without adequate counseling. And I mentioned already that they seem to take a particular glee in selling abortions to women who think it's wrong. It's like, haha, we were right, you do need an abortion, ha 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 ha. They don't direct her to things that are really in keeping with her own beliefs, despite the fact that all the rhetoric is that pro-choice is about helping women live according to their own beliefs. And abortion is associated with risks of all forms of violent death, including accident, homicide, and suicide. And if you follow the link below, I also provide links to some other post-abortion suicides I know about. Now, unfortunately, a lot of the discussion about post-abortion suicide turns into a battle between the pro-lifers pointing out the risks and abortion enthusiasts insisting that the risk doesn't exist. But we have to consider the other absurd claims that they put forth. 5,000 to 10,000 women a year were dying from botched abortions prior to legalization. Kermit Gosnell was an outlier. Abortion can't impact your future childbearing, which how they can explain that when they admit that damage to the uterus is a possibility, including winding up needing a hysterectomy. I'm not clear on how having a hysterectomy doesn't in any way interfere with future childbearing, but there you have it. So, you need to look at their assertions with a very jaded eye. Now, one aspect to the abortion supporters' claims is valid. A post-abortion suicide is more likely in a patient who already has emotional, mental health, or relationship problems. So why aren't they steering those women toward the support they need instead of blithely assuring them that the abortion's either going to be a non-event in their lives or that they're going to be flooded with unmitigated relief? They take their money, put them on the table, suction them out, send them out the door, and never give a single thought to their future well-being. They're just as oblivious of whether the woman ends up taking her own life as they are of whether she bleeds to death on the way home after they shove her out the door, as happened with Sharon Hamplin and, oh, come on, New Year's Eve, Chicago. I feel so bad I can't remember her name. I'll think of it. So now it is quite likely that the link between abortion and suicide is largely because of a common causality. I mean, abortion and suicide are both drastic and irreversible approaches to distressing circumstances. So a woman seeking an abortion when she's in a distressing circumstance related to pregnancy is probably also going to seek suicide, the most drastic and irreversible but immediate relief to the other circumstances. And I think this is going to be specifically true if after the abortion she's still facing the same problems that led her to choose the abortion in the first place. So, yeah, I really think there need to be serious studies about this. People do need to know about the Stacey Zally Foundation, and people need to start insisting, pro-choice people out there, what do you think of the idea that some woman can come in, she's bipolar, her boyfriend is threatening to leave her if she doesn't have the abortion, she doesn't want it, she's crying, and you're like, oh, I know, you feel bad now, but you'll be glad later. Shouldn't they be doing more for her? And if you follow the link below to my post, I'm going to have a lot of information. I'm going to include Dr. What was his name? McHugh? There was a psychiatrist who looked over the records of George Tiller's Health of the Mother abortions, his post-viability abortions, and saw that they were taking highly distressed young women, and instead of addressing the reasons for their distress, they were rubber stamping abortions. Don't you think women deserve better than for these vultures to circle around their personal tragedy? You decide.